Hey you, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are celebrating the 1 year anniversary of me starting my blog. So, let's get into it.
You got the summertime love. I work for your heart all night till the dawn. You stay when they switch doors. I know you're the one. They go and they come. You like the summer breeze through the trees. You like a getaway. It's you and me. You like the summertime love. You like the summertime love. I pull up to your spot in the evening. Got a life in a pop for the weekend. Girl, I said you're the one and I mean that. Yeah, I mean that. I told my baby we can do what you want. Take the stress away from what you've been going through. Girl, there's one thing on my mind and it's always you. Yeah, it's always you. Feet up, palm trees, sundress, daiquiri. Way you look at me is staggering. Way I break out, sunsets, factory. Way I look at you like you got the summertime love. I work for your heart all night till the dawn. You stay when they switch doors. I know you're the one. They go and they come. You like the summer breeze through the trees. You like a getaway. It's you and me. You like the summertime love. You like the summertime love.
All 4 seasons I've been
Welcome to today's video. It is all about all of the tips that I've learned in my first year blogging. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you're always notified when I post a new video. Basically, 1 year ago today, I launched my very first blog post. At the time, it was adreamingmillennial.com. I have since changed it to arianawesley.com, so definitely make sure you check that out. It'll be linked down in the description below. And I actually just uploaded today a blog post all about all of the reasons that I started my blog and eventually my YouTube channel that you're watching now. When you're done watching, make sure you head over and check that blog post out. It's a great one. It's really long, but it really encompasses the entire storyline from me, and I think I started in high school, like the very end of high school, and went through me dropping out of college, me coming back to college, and all of that. So definitely make sure you check that one out. It's long, but it's such a good one. Okay, so the first lesson that I want to talk about today is to consistently provide quality content. Now, for me on my blog, that has looked like at least one post every single month since I started last September. The only month that I missed was July. I believe I've mentioned that here on my YouTube channel before, but July was the only time I missed because I moved to Texas, and then I went through this whole series of like terrible events in my life that just like came crashing down around me right after I moved here. So if you haven't seen any of those videos, definitely check out my Texas playlist. I will link it in the description and up in the cards. The entire time that I've been creating content, I have been working at least one full-time job and taking 3 classes a semester. So when I first started it, I was working one job and I had just started 3 classes for that semester. And then a couple months later, I believe it was the middle of October, I actually got a new job where you saw several of my vlogs. I was working in a hospital as a housekeeper, and then I kept my previous housekeeping job as well. So yeah, at one point I was working 2 jobs, had my blog. At this point, I decided that I was starting a YouTube channel in January. I also wanted to start a podcast. It has not happened yet, still in the works, but I wanted to kind of get more set in my schedule on YouTube and my blog before I started to add something else to it. But going back to the main point of this tip, providing consistent quality content. So if you can't upload something that is quality, I would not do it. You want all of your blog posts or YouTube videos to reflect the best kind of work that you can do, and you want to be proud of them. So if that's 1 blog post a month, go for that. If it's 1 every other week, bi-weekly, go for that. If it's every single week, go for it. But yeah, ultimately you just want to share content that you're proud of and that you don't mind sharing with like your friends and your family and strangers on the internet. If you can't post whenever your normal posting day is, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, we're all human. Things happen in our life. Like, look at my transition to Dallas. It was insane. Literally, everything went wrong that pretty much could have. So yeah, I've really tried to just maintain a positive attitude, and that's really all you can do, is try to stick positive and work your way through it one day at a time. So this second tip is from one of my favorite bloggers, my favorite podcasters. She's honestly goals in so many aspects, but I think, hold on. Okay, so one of my favorite bloggers, podcasters, everything. I absolutely love her content. Her Instagram stories are on point. Let me tell you, if you're not following Lauren from The Skinny Confidential, what are you doing with your life? She's amazing. Okay, but my favorite piece of advice Lauren has ever given out on her blog, her podcast, is to launch fast and adjust. Her and her husband launched their podcast, The Skinny Confidential, him and her, way before they had a studio, super amazing equipment, like the whole 9 yards. Like, they literally, I'm pretty sure, launched it in their kitchen. And you can tell, but like, that's okay. Like, the episodes are still pretty great. You know, definitely not what their current content is, but you know, if you can always improve, you can always level up your content. And I know personally, my blog was not anywhere near perfect when I started, but it's getting there. I still have so many things that I could improve, but they're just going to take time. That's what happens when you're a content creator. You learn more and more as time goes on, things evolve, apps and stuff change, so you have better capabilities of creating certain kinds of content and that kind of thing. So it's one of those things that you just need to always stay learning. You want to get that out into the world and then adjust, level up as time goes on. This is something that Catherine Manning is also a fan of. You know, she launched her blog like 3 years ago, almost 4 I think now. And over time, she has invested in better cameras, better sound, better computers, editing tools. You know, over time, she's done this. Most of my first like 6 or 7 YouTube videos were all filmed on my phone. I had a camera at the time. I just wasn't using it because I had not told anyone that I was living with that I had a YouTube channel, that I had a blog. And so I was just really self-conscious about it, and most of those videos were vlogs of a day in my life, week in my life kind of thing. And a lot of the clips I filmed were in my car. Work with what you have right now when you start, and then as you progress, level up your equipment, level up your software. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. I have new neighbors moving into my building apparently today, and their U-Haul is parked right outside my window. We love that. This next tip is something that I've heard a lot of different bloggers suggest when I was starting really reading into how other people have done it, and it's save an account on like every social media you think you might ever use. Like Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, and you want to save it. You don't have to use them all at one time. I actually recommend you do not try to use them all at once, but save the username so that it's there when you want it, when you're ready, and that way someone else doesn't take it. But you want to start by picking 1 or 2 that you're somewhat familiar with from your personal accounts. Make a separate business account. It'll be nicer in the long run. You'll have a more dedicated audience that wants to see that content, not that like is just there because your friends and family and old acquaintances and stuff. So yeah, you just want like a niched audience. You want to pick platforms that are going to give you the best ROI or return on investment. That's usually used in finance, but it's really great terminology to explain kind of how I chose to use Twitter and Pinterest as my main sources of driving blog traffic to my website and eventually, ultimately, my YouTube channel as well. Most bloggers will tell you you have to use Pinterest in order to grow your blog, and that's pretty accurate. You know, you want to have good SEO for Google and other search engines, but Pinterest is also a search engine. It's a visual search engine. Obviously, you know this. I'm sure you've used it, but you want to create pins for all of your blog posts and share them. You want to just figure out how to use the platform best for you. A lot of people have suggested getting a personal account, making a separate business one from your personal. I have mine combined. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I also use Twitter, and that's probably weird for a lot of people because bloggers, you think Instagram. Well, no. So I had to go offload everything from my SD card because I filled her up today. But I was talking about Twitter and how I use it for blogging and sharing my blog and ultimately creating a community. I really, really value community over competition. It just feels like a more genuine audience, and I really enjoy getting to connect with other bloggers and YouTubers and the whole 9 yards. I just really like that. Twitter seems so much more friendly and open to community, whereas Instagram feels more like it's a competition of who has more followers and who gets more likes and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't have time for that, sis. So that is why I chose Twitter, and I get quite a few blog views from sharing on Twitter and also on Pinterest. So over the next month or so, I really want to dive into both of those a little bit deeper so that I can hopefully see more of a result than I have been, because I've been doing it like sporadically and I want to get really consistent on that. If you don't already, follow me on Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram. I will share them all in the links below. So this next one I'm super passionate about. Every single blogger that teaches other bloggers or want to be bloggers how to start a successful blog, they always hit you some kind of course, paid product, and let me tell you, you don't need them all. So many offer free advice on their blogs, on their Twitters, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is. So many of them offer you free advice that you can take from multiple different sources and still see a result. That is mostly how I have created my brand right now. I have paid for a couple different things, but honestly have not really used them effectively. So yeah, that is something you can do. And I encourage you to do if you can, but you don't have to. They market it so that you feel like you have to, and you don't. I promise you, you don't. If you don't have the funds, if you're starting this on a budget, definitely invest more in your website, as in getting a domain name and hosting and all of that. Pay for Canva if you want. I would highly suggest that a little bit more than just going out and buying a whole bunch of blogger courses and paid products. Because let's be honest, they put a lot of work into these products and they are usually accompanied with a hefty price. If you don't have the funds for that, do not feel bad. You can still do it finding free resources and free help. So as you start making improvements and leveling up your blog, I highly suggest you take it one step at a time. Don't try to do absolutely everything at once. Decide you're going to revamp all of the main featured photos in all of your blog posts, or you're gonna edit your pages like your About Me, your contact page, gonna shoot some of your own photos to add to your blog posts. Just whatever it is, take it one step at a time. People will still read your blog even if it's not perfect, because nobody's is perfect. There are some of the biggest bloggers that I follow that I absolutely love, and every now and then I'll still catch a grammar or spelling mistake on their blog. And most internet browsers today have a spell check, grammar check, and it still happens. One step at a time. Don't rush it. Don't get too down on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's fine. It'll work out in the end. I promise you it'll be fine. Oh, if you want to improve your SEO, there's the Yoast, like toast, but with a Y, SEO app that I have used on my last 3 WordPress blogs. It is so helpful. It'll tell you, you're using too much passive voice, you should change these to active voice, and it'll highlight them for you and everything. It'll tell you, oh, this is your keyword, but you've only used it once or twice, and it'll tell you based on how long your blog post is. Definitely use it. If you're not using it, you should be. It is the easiest way to start learning and understanding more about SEO, or search engine optimization. Alright, and that is everything I wanted to share that I have learned in my first year of blogging. Thank you so much for reading my blog, checking it out, following along on my journey. Thank you for watching today's YouTube video. I'm so excited to finally be sharing this with you. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you're subscribed down below and tap the bell to always be notified when I post a new video. And make sure you check out my blog, arianawesley.com. It'll be linked in the description below. Also, my socials will be linked down below as well, so you can really follow along my journey anywhere, basically, that social media exists. Thank you so much for watching today's video all about my first year of being a blogger, and I really hope that you found some tips helpful. And one last thing that I want to tell you is start now. You won't regret starting your blog or your YouTube channel, whatever it is, but you'll regret not starting it sooner. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I'm so excited that you are here and have reached the end of the video. Comment down below telling me what tip you think is going to work best for you, or if you have tried other tips and want to let me know what's worked for you. With all that being said, thank you, have a great day, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Run around the subject, I'ma find the truth, yeah, playing it coy, but I'm a